Hey everybody, it's Courtney Patton, and this is the Texas Music Scene with my buddy Jack Ingram.
Welcome back to the Texas Music Scene. Courtney Patton collaborated with Gordy Quist, co-frontman of the Band of Heathens, to produce her album Electrostatic at his studio at the Finishing School in Austin. The result is, we'll say it again in 2 words, country soul. I dig it. Here's her story of making that project.
Fires might emblazon and the mighty wind might weaken, but we build with what they leave us when they die. What if all that energy was just you trying to reach for me, electrostatic sideways in the night? I'd never seen you storm before. When I turned my back, you reached some more. You waited for the timing to be right.
So my last record, What It's Like to Fly Alone, came out in 2018, and I had gone into, after the release of that record, I thought it would be really fun to make a record at my house. And so I was gearing up to do that. I had talked to a buddy that was an engineer that had a home engineer rig that he was gonna come and bring in to my house, and we talked about tracking it on my old piano that we had, and we were really excited about it. And then the pandemic hit. And so the thought of making a record in that house after being stuck in it for 2 years sounded like the worst idea ever.
What if all that energy was just you trying to reach for me, electrostatic sideways in the night?
So the good part about the pandemic is it forced me to sit at home and write a lot. And so I was in 2 little songwriting groups that got me out of my writer's rut. And I just wrote and wrote and wrote. And I wrote kind of more along the lines of, here was a word that had to be put in a song every week. And it was a challenge for me. It was a challenge for me to write songs based on a prompt. And it was a challenge for me to make myself write one by myself every single week and turn it in. So I just kind of kept writing and writing and writing and really gathered, I think 7 of the 10 songs on this new album came from those songwriter groups, which I think is great.
The song is always longer than the dances.
Gordy had produced Jason's last record, my husband, Jason Eady, and it's just beautiful. It was beautiful. The studio was fun. The gear was really cool. Gordy works with some really great session players and musicians and engineers, and it was just a no-brainer. I just wanted to do that. And I mean, Gordy has the best head of hair in the business, so why would you not want to stare at that every day? So.
Do you feel love, or is it just indifference? My barrel's at the bottom of a well run dry.
I went to the Finishing School in Austin in December of last year, and we recorded the record. I think we tracked 12 songs in 2 days. So that's the caliber of musicians I was playing with. Heather Stalling, Richard Millsap on drums, Trevor Nealon on keys and synthesizer and all that stuff. My buddy Naj Conklin on bass, and then of course, the ever amazing Jeff Queen on guitar and steel and lap steel. And I sent Gordy in pre-production, I sent him ideas of sounds that I liked and just said, the vibe, the sound, the way things are mixed, don't do this, do this. And it happened. Like it happened without me even knowing it was happening. And when we got back and I got to listen to the mixes, I thought, oh my gosh, we did it. We made it happen just with picking the right players, being in the right studio, having the right producer. And that studio experience was better than anything I've ever had.
Let's have a night like the old days.
We took a lot of time when we first started. I sang through 2 different mics. I'd never done that before. And we tried out 3 different setups and got the sound. That sounds like me. And once we found it, that was the microphone we sang on. Another cool thing he did that I had never done before was to put the guitar down. I've always played guitar on all of my songs, and I did on some. But a lot of the time they said, put it down and just sing. I wrote the song, I wrote the music, the band played it, and then I got to just sing the music that I wrote, and that was really, really cool, and it helped me. I think when you write a song and you're so used to performing solo acoustic, which I do probably 90% of the time, you get stuck in singing it one way. And these songs I've sat on for a couple of years before I actually got to record them. And so it was fun to just sit there and listen to the band play and just sing again, you know? And I danced. I've never danced when I sang. And I'm a pretty fun person, but I take the studio really seriously, and I was able to just relax. I was barefooted and dancing and just, again, what a blast.
Try as I will, it's hard to stand still while I'm building up speed for the fall. The casualty of being with me is I don't need nobody at all.
And I really feel like it's the best work that I've ever put out. It's the hardest I've ever worked. It's the most money I've ever spent, but it's so rewarding, and I really am proud of Electrostatic. I'm proud of the people that contributed to it. It is nothing without them. It's nothing without those players. To be able to call them all friends at the end of that, and to have somebody like Jeff Queen come up and say it was one of the most fun records he's ever made, that meant a lot to me. I'm just not really worrying about anybody else right now. I'm just making music to have fun and do what I love, and I think I found kind of where I want to live for a little bit.